Apartments can be very nice or very not so nice. And I'm guessing if you're watching this video, you've either lived in a bad apartment before, visited one, or seen enough on TV you're curious about what they're really like out there. So in this video, let me, Jeff, take you all across America to different bad apartment buildings and read some funny and outrageous 1-star Google reviews. If you like that idea, make sure you leave a like if you end up liking it, subscribe for more, and if you have any ideas you'd like to see me do, leave them in the comments down below. Alright, let's get into those reviews. We are going to start our journey at the Here Tuscaloosa Apartments in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, which have a 3.7 rating on 153 reviews. This is an apartment building that is relatively new because if you look at Google Street Maps from March of 2020, they are just started building, and in July of 2019, there's different houses there. These apartments are very close to Saban Field at Bryant-Denny Stadium, which is home to the Alabama Crimson Tide.
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.
So if you're a fan of D1 football and go to Alabama, maybe living here would be good? Let's go read the reviews. Our first review for the Here Tuscaloosa apartment building in Tuscaloosa, Alabama comes from Emily. I've lived here for 3 years, and it's been one issue after another. The fire alarms go off at all hours, constantly here and there. The hot tub has never worked the entire time I've been there. Just about. The front office staff rarely have answers or solutions, and when you ask to speak with management, they're either randomly unavailable, unhelpful, or have taken the day off. Picking up packages is a nightmare. Half the time, no one is at the desk, and packages get misplaced even after being marked as delivered. It's unprofessional to see front desk employees visibly vaping while on the job. The hallways reek and are rarely cleaned, and that's just the beginning of a long list of issues. Elevators. Ha! Never worked, but maybe one or two if we are lucky. Well, we're starting off this video with somebody who's lived in this apartment building for 3 years, which is pretty nice. We get a good perspective of everything. Fire alarms going off at all hours, here and there constantly. How can something be going off constantly here and there? Wouldn't it be one or the other? And the rest of it just sounds pretty gross. Hallways reek, employees vaping, and management's nowhere to be found. But what I did find is the next review from Gabby, and she has pictures. This place is way overpriced. They don't care about their residents at all. The place was built for a quick buck. Apartments leak all the time, and most recently, the 3rd and 4th floor, which they tried to completely ignore until residents began freaking out about it. The fire alarm goes off at least 3 times a month for no apparent reason. This place really shouldn't be in business, let alone charging upwards of $1,200 minimum per room. I don't know about you guys, but I don't see any flooding in the picture that Gabby left. I don't know what those residents were freaking out about. It looks bone dry to me. And that fire alarm going off at least 3 times a month for no apparent reason, people are gonna die someday when they ignore that fire alarm and it's actually going up in flames. I'm not sure what I'd rather have happen to me. Would I rather be burned alive or eaten alive? Well, for now I'll read Ryan's review.
Never live here.
Without doubt, one of the worst living experiences you could have for this price. Made the mistake of living here for 2 years. For what they charge, you'd think they could afford a full-time cleaning staff to keep up with the probably 700 residents, such as a respectable apartment would do. But no. I guess the property manager is making her buck though.
Hello, I like money.
The stairwells, elevators, hallways, and trash rooms are constantly overfilled with feces and trash. Their amenities they will sell you on will be broken half your lease. The fire alarm will frequently go off at 3 a.m. on a weeknight. They shut off the water all day for repair multiple times a year. Was charged $75 a month for parking gates 2023 through 2024 year, when there were in fact no parking gates and locals used it as free parking. You will never sleep from the bars blasting music that shakes your walls until 3 a.m. and trash pickup. Terrible cockroach and pest problem. I understand having slight wear and tear with college leasing, but this place really should be sued for what they're charging families. Management is rude and corrupt. 1 star is beyond generous. This review is still sizzling like a skillet you get at a Mexican restaurant. It's so fresh from 5 days ago. And it's pretty fiery too. So these are college apartments, like I said in the intro, so they have a little bit of wear and tear, but having all of these issues, plus they sell you on amenities you can't use and charge you that much money, seems a bit criminal, but people keep signing those leases, so they won't do anything to change it probably. What I really want to know is, why are there feces in the hallway? What animal or person is leaving that around? Gross. Maybe Sarah's review will shed a little more light on our crappy problem we have. She has a picture. Let's read. The here is anything but premier. The common areas are disgusting. There is dog poop and vomit in my daughter's hall that has been there for over a week. Trash cans are overflowing. Common area furniture is covered in mold. Elevator areas are absolutely disgusting. I am sure they have never been cleaned. So Sarah is a resident's mom. The poop is dog poop, and there's also vomit. There's mold all over the furniture, as you can see in the picture. That is absolutely disgusting. And the elevator areas have never been cleaned. The here is anything but premier is a great slogan for this place after reading those reviews. So let's head out of Tuscaloosa and go to the next apartments. And we make our way to the upper Midwest to Grand Rapids, Michigan to Central Park Place Apartments. These apartments have a 3.7 rating on 87 reviews. These apartments are like in an apartment village where there's like several different units all spread around. And a quick fact about Grand Rapids is that Shark Boy himself, Taylor Lautner's from there. So now let's go read some apartment reviews. First up for the Central Park Place Apartments in Grand Rapids, Michigan is Betty. I did a year bid at Central Park Place, and I say bid because that's what they made me and my son feel like. It was jail. He was 4, and they do not like children. I got complaints my first week about noise from a child in an apartment complex. These were complaints from older tenants in my building who obviously felt like they had the luxury of noiseless apartments. These complainers also had huge dogs that barked all day while they were at work. I didn't complain because, you know, it's an apartment. Noise happens. Throughout the year, I received several complaints about my 4-year-old son. The fees and awkward office staff definitely didn't make our situation any better. Also, do not let them fool you into thinking your apartment will look anything like their updated clubhouse. It does not. The most expensive unit, with upgrades, had a refrigerator that was at least 15 years old and a microwave to match. The in-unit washer and dryer were very noisy, and so was a moderately updated dishwasher. If you're going to say you're offering upgraded units, upgrade them. I only say this because their rent is ridiculously high for those sad upgrades. My furnace also went out in the middle of winter, and they told me to heat my whole apartment off the fireplace. Overall, I do not recommend this community, especially if you have kids or make any type of noise in life. I think all of the miserable old people go there to live. Off to a great start with Betty's review there. Seems like she did not have a great time living here with her kid. To get multiple noise complaints about your kid, that'd be very, very stressful. What was her kid doing? Learning the drums or something? I don't know. Sounds like this complex also does the old bait and switch, like, hey, come check out this really nice updated apartment here, and then you move into your apartment and everything's just falling apart. Oh, just Jeff sneaking in here to give a quick shout out to the Super Jeff Freaks, Darth Jen, Jawara Hall, Steven, and Jake. Thank you so much for that extra support. Alright, back to the video. Our next review for these apartments comes from Kathy. This is the absolute worst place to live. I would give it -20 if I could. They are non-stop charging fees. They never return calls. No one in the office knows anything. I call several times daily and no one returns calls. They charged me $38 for renter's insurance for my last month, and I have had all year. I provided proof to the office and also had my insurance company call them. It's never-ending charges with them. Do not rent here. The apartments are not even nice. Biggest mistake I've ever made moving here. I cannot wait to move out at the end of this month. Oh man, -20 if she could? Kathy really did not like this place. And I can understand why after reading that review. I don't want to rent here at all, and I don't even live near it. But now I know if I want to call them and ask them a question, they will never even get back to me. Haha, good one, Jeff. Anyways, let's move on to the next review from Dan. I have been a tenant for many years. I must say it has been a struggle getting maintenance requests completed. I have had one issue for a down appliance for over a month and really getting zero communication. Not having an appliance for over a month is unacceptable in my mind. I also have 2 other open issues that have not been addressed yet. Now I have to put yet another maintenance request for another issue. Sigh. Not to mention our intercom system has been out of commission for 2 years. The staff is very friendly, but communication and getting the stuff taken care of has been a struggle lately. Very frustrating. I do agree with Dan, having an appliance out of commission, especially if it's included with your apartment, is not acceptable. I really hope he gets a discount for that, but based on everything else with this place, I highly doubt it. At least the staff is friendly? Friendly staff or not, if they don't communicate with you, who the heck cares? Anyways, let's read Hannah's review. We lived in a 2-bedroom at Central Park Place for almost a year, and wouldn't recommend it to anyone. The staff was awkward and unfriendly, as well as passive-aggressive. They were upset about our potted plants outside and boarded up the water spigot on our apartment so we wouldn't have a way to water them, without discussing it with Iz at all. We had a grill outside all year before they taped a warning on the door a few weeks before our move-out date telling us to take it down.
Although grills are allowed on the lease.
Maintenance was unhelpful and also unfriendly. When our sink backed up, we were told, well, the sink can only drain so fast. Other maintenance requests had to be repeated multiple times or were blown off entirely. We were charged a fee for not having renter's insurance. When we provided proof of said insurance,
Which we had the whole time, we had to have insurance to sign the lease.
they refused to drop the fee and told us they couldn't help us. If you can get over the staff problems, prepare yourself for old, outdated appliances that work poorly and run very loudly. It takes 2 hours of drying to get a load of laundry dry, and we don't even bother using the dishwasher. The pool is okay, but the hot tub is very dirty and stained and lukewarm on most days. You can try it if you want, but the chlorine burn is enough to get most people out in 15 minutes. The only good thing about this place is the neighbors. A lot of older folks, but they all have been very friendly and accepting. Well, to me at least, it feels a bit dramatic to board up the water spigots so somebody can't water their plants. It's a bit over the top. And also the thing about the grills, that seems very strange, especially if it says you can have one in your lease. Seems like somebody just doesn't like grills being outside. Grills and plants. Weird. At least Hannah liked the neighbors there, unlike Betty in the first review. Well, that's how living in apartments can go. So let's get out of Grand Rapids and head to the next apartment building. For our next stop, we're going to go to the West Edge Apartments in Las Vegas, Nevada. These apartments have a 3.6 rating on 290 reviews. The sign by the road for this apartment building is crumbling, and it's another one of those cookie-cutter looking apartments. For Las Vegas, I'll tell you my quick Vegas story. I was in the Las Vegas airport once on a layover flight, and this elderly lady asked if I could watch her bag and her little walker thing so she could go play on the slot machines. I had nothing better to do, so I watched her stuff. Now let's read some reviews. Our first review for the West Edge apartment buildings in Clark County, Nevada comes from M. With a picture. The office staff consists of 3 women, none of who can assist you effectively. They employ a security guard who comes at night solely to close the laundry room. If you need anything from them, they are unable to help. The office has cameras, but if you need access to them to identify who broke into your car, they are unhelpful. Maintenance requests are equally frustrating. They can make you wait over 3 months just to fix your AC. I have proof. I keep all the emails and documentation. I've already given up on asking them to change the hallway light. It's been burnt out for more than 2 years. Homeless individuals are everywhere. In the pool area, walking around the apartment complex, even living here. They also break into vacant apartments and nothing is done about it. At night, it's completely dark. There are barely any lights around the complex. I will update with more pictures later. That's why they're offering 1 month free plus $500 for groceries, because this place isn't worth it. It's not safe at all, and the office staff is careless. Be cautious of the automated responses below claiming they'll address my issues. It's laughable. Do you really believe all these 5-star reviews are genuine? LOL. I'll enhance M's picture so you guys can see it more clearly, but it's just a picture of a person, maybe a homeless person, maybe somebody just walking outside, and it almost looks like he told them to go like cheese, and they're going like, hee. But yeah, that's the only picture he included, which I don't really understand what this picture is supposed to be. And also, he said there's homeless people living there, so if they're living somewhere, would that not make them homeless? Unless he's talking about the squatters, but he also said that separately. I don't know. This place sounds pretty seedy so far from that first review. Let's see how it treated Diedrich. AC has been down for almost a week in 100-degree weather, and communication with the office on getting it straightened out has been non-existent outside of me walking into the office myself to ask questions. Unit was replaced almost 24 hours ago and has been reported twice to them in that time as still not working, yet no one has come to check it out and see what's going on. The order, as with others before it, was marked complete without the job actually being completed or anyone checking with me to make sure it was completed.
Meanwhile,
I'm sleeping in an apartment that reaches 86 degrees and stays there until the middle of the night. My plants are dying because if I open the blinds, it'll hit 90 plus in here. And I'm on a constant crusade with the portable unit in the window that is letting every bug known to man inside my bedroom while I'm too hot to sleep anyway. Several issues with communication just within the year. But as I prefer not to complain, I haven't been peeved enough to get into it until now. I appreciate Diedrich not being a complainer and waiting until they got just peeved just enough to leave this review. That sounds so annoying. Having our AC broken when it's 100 degrees out and then you're covered in bugs. Oh man, it feels like some like jungle movie where you're like stuck in the middle of the jungle and there's bugs on you and you're all humid and sweaty and gross. When I say that, I'm thinking of like the beginning of the movie Predator when like Arnold and them land in the jungle and Arnold's looking all like sweaty and hot. Let's move on and read Francis's review. I meant hot like he's warm, you know, like warm because it's okay. Anyways, these places are absolutely horrible. Half of the maintenance people do not speak English at all. I hate to use a translator for them every time they came to the apartment. Things only got permanently fixed. What? I moved out of my apartment after doing a month-to-month agreement and they are still trying to bill me for an entire month after I left. I definitely do not recommend these places. For the amount of money you pay here, you can pay for a better space somewhere else. I do not recommend renting from here. Okay, Francis, you're complaining about using a translator, but then you type, things only got permanently fixed. If it's permanently fixed, then it doesn't need to get fixed again. Who really needs a translator, Francis? Time to move on to Tanya's review. Maintenance team is always half doing or not doing at all.
Boom. Roasted.
It's very frustrating to deal with a team that only does what they want and still get paid. We need a new maintenance crew. I've had the carpet cleaners come out twice and still didn't do what they were supposed to do. I've had a whole pipe burst. Area has not been painted and no shelves have been replaced after 3 weeks. I would have to think having a pipe burst and all the damage that would do, especially not fixing it for over 3 weeks, probably costs more than just having a maintenance person come in and fix the problem, you know, like tear up the carpet if it needs to be, replace the cabinets, repaint the walls, all of that, because then the property will be worth more because it's been maintained with maintenance. What do I know? I'm just Jeff. But what I do know is we're moving on to the next apartment building. Our next set of apartments are the Riverwood apartments in Lansing, Illinois. These apartments have a 2.3 rating on 81 reviews. These very bland looking brick apartments are located just 6.9 miles south of Chicago. Unfortunately, I couldn't find a street view of the outside, but I did find a picture and a video of someone taking a tour of one of these apartments. So, let's go read some of the reviews. Our first review for the Riverwood apartments comes from Tiffany. When I first moved here, it was such a beautiful complex. Now, since I've been here for over 10 years, the management office is horrible. They are very unprofessional when it comes to informing their tenants about anything. My fiance car got stolen. Management had the nerve to tell me to ask my neighbors if they had a Ring camera when I called to inform them about it. It sounds like to me management is just trying to help Tiffany by telling her to ask the neighbors about Ring cameras. Maybe Tiffany wants them to do it for her. I don't know about the laws there. Or maybe Tiffany's upset that the place doesn't have cameras of their own. I'm not too sure. What do you guys think? Who knows? Let's move on and read Brooke's review. This place needs to be torn down. The management team is complete liars. The rent constantly goes up. They have cameras in the hallway just for direction. The elevators never work. Someone stole my package. There's always an issue with the washer or dryers. It's 48 apartments in the building. Expect people to use 3 washers/3 dryers? The side door constantly stay broken because they refuse to repair it correct. They obviously do not pay their garbage bill because the trash will sit there for weeks. This new management team, T. Parker, need to humble herself. Beating at people's doors like you the feds will get you in some trouble. You're a replacement.
Remember that.
They need to burn the whole damn complex and start over.
Don't waste your time or money.
This is Brooke's only review on Google, and it sounds like to me her package got stolen. She went to the management. They only have cameras for direction. I don't know if that meant in a single direction or maybe they're like fake cameras. I don't know. But after that, it was just unraveling from there, complaining about the washers, the dryers, the trash, and everything in between. I want to know what T. Parker's doing beating on people's doors. Anyways, let's go to the next review. And for the next review, we're going to see what happened to Tunisia. I would like to let everyone know that there isn't any improvement at Riverwood Apartment. It's taking longer time to get things in order. It's getting worse at Riverwoods. The staff is really not helpful, but they are helpful at being very unprofessional.
Boom. Roasted.
They want you to pay rent on time, but you have to wait long periods of time to get things done. Some tenants are without stoves, refrigerators, and air conditioning. Some of us can pay our rent, but some of us are really uncomfortable with doing so when you can't get the proper care to your place of residence. You have exposed wires. It smells really horrible on all floors, and a lot of people are staying there that don't belong there. I want to know what they mean about people staying there that don't belong there. A little confusing. The exposed wires worry me. The horrible smell can be a little concerning. People don't have stoves or refrigerators. This place is just terrible. Let's keep reading. Next up is Balwant, or is it Balwant? As reviews already state, this place is not worth your time or efforts. I went to tour, and staff seemed caring that presented the information. They seem to do their job for what they're paid for. The issue is the manager of the place. These people do not know what they're talking about, and then blame other things without informing you, and it is really their laziness to blame. Renting a place does not take more than a few days. These people claim to take weeks, as this is false to cover up their lazy staff managing the property. We'll never advise anyone to stay here as they do not care for anyone and work to get paid. Also, they do not own up to their website claims or advertisements. So I don't think that this reviewer actually ever lived at these apartments. I think they went on a tour. They said the staff seemed caring, but they're doing their job for what they're paid for. I'm not really sure what they mean by that. I don't think it's anybody's passion to give people apartment tours, but I do agree it should not take weeks to get approved for a lease. It should take a few days at most. But it only takes a few seconds to hit that like button if you haven't yet, as we go to the next set of apartments. For our next set of bad reviews, we're going to go to the Harbor Sky Apartments in Portland, Oregon, and they hold a 3.9 rating on 158 reviews. Whenever I think about the city Portland, I think of the show Portlandia, and this apartment building looks like it would be made fun of in that show. It looks so modern and cookie cutter. Heck, my city in the Midwest has like 3 apartment buildings that look like this. So let's go and read some reviews. First up for the Harbor Sky Apartments in Portland, Oregon is Janet. If I could give 0 stars, I would.
Roasted.
We moved out early 2025 and we still don't have our deposit back. We have sent countless emails, as was our experience before moving out. The staff either don't care or just have no idea what they're doing. No one can tell us what the next steps are or what is going to be done.
Per Oregon law.
They have long been past the date they were supposed to have issued the deposit back to us.
Do not rent from them. The positive reviews are not real. You will regret it.
We moved out as soon as we could. This is quite possibly the worst management group I have ever encountered. I doubt they plan to get better. We will be filing a lawsuit against them. This is a 1-star review that sort of proves why you need to check 1-star reviews, even if a place has a 3.9 rating like this place does. If Janet is having all of these issues getting her security deposit back, imagine how long it takes to get anything else fixed. Next up after Janet's review is Jamie. I would not recommend living here. It's a lot of money every month to not be able to use the pool/hot tub 10 out of 12 months of the year. People don't dispose of trash properly and leave old, nasty mattresses and broken sofas in common areas. You can pay $100 for a parking spot in a secure area, and they won't do anything helpful for when your car is stolen. Mine was never recovered. Your packages will get stolen often. Pet-friendly building, but unfortunately dog urine is everywhere inside. Smoke-free building, but our neighbors and several residents smoke marijuana and it permeates the walls. The office staff aren't either trained properly or seemingly don't care. Anchor Way is a narrow street with at least 3 other apartment complexes and 2 hotels with many construction underway. There are upwards of 3,000 to 5,000 people that live on this street or utilize it every day, so it's dangerous and impractical. Hidden expenses, uncleared utility bills. The fire system currently has several safety flaws, not to mention the dozen or more false alarms we experienced in the last 9 months. People have been found engaging in sexual activities in the stairwells. There are people currently on the 3rd floor that clearly have substance abuse issues and let their associates into our building often. The trash room has been known to have homeless individuals sneak in to dumpster dive. The actual apartment unit is nice, but we don't like anything else and look forward to moving out when we can. Feel free to check out the Harbor Sky Apartments Residents PDX Oregon group on Facebook. It is not affiliated with the leasing company, and you can learn all the details with the issues and more. Unfortunately, I'm not going to go ahead and join that group on Facebook to learn about more of the issues. I think Jamie gave us enough. You pay for secure parking and your car gets stolen, your packages get stolen, dogs urinate everywhere, and people engage in weird activities in the stairwells for some reason. Well, let's see what happened in the next review. And that review comes from Kim. For those looking for a quiet neighborhood and with a building, this would be a great option.
However,
the new management is turning this place into
Gotham City.
When unscrupulous people use the residential parking, the previous manager would send out a general email and deal with it quickly to suppress conflicts with residents and sometimes take strong measures. Now they charge over $100 for parking spaces and bark ridiculous things like if an outside vehicle takes my space, they have to give a 72-hour tow notice. But after 72 hours, I call them every morning and ask what's going on? What action are they taking? But what I get is only lies and excuses or them ignoring my calls. Is it because I keep calling the management? That same car is now moved into my other neighbor's space. When I leave in the morning, I get goosebumps and feel bad that my other neighbor is going through the same inconvenience as I did, and the management still does nothing. P.S. The car is still sitting in our complex now for 4 days. Now management, they won't do anything because it's the weekend.
They also have said they don't want to tow it because it's a fancy car.
Wonderful. Love that. Luckily for us, Kim included a picture of that nice car and it looks like a pretty nice Mercedes. I'm guessing the management is afraid that the owner will come after him if there's like damage to the car. But in reality, I think management is probably just lazy. What do you guys think? Let me know, and let's go to the next set of apartments. And for our next stop, we're going to go to the Westminster Place Apartments in St. Louis, Missouri, holding a 3.9 rating on 141 reviews. When I think about St. Louis, I think about the Gateway Arch. And did you know that somebody once flew through the arch in 1980? But then, unfortunately, somebody else tried in 1995 and sadly passed away. So with that in mind, let's read some apartment reviews. The first review for the Westminster Place Apartments comes from T, and it's a 2-parter. The first part of the review I'm going to read must have been left before they actually started living there. Let's get into it. I just left my showing and I can't believe how sweet and helpful Megan was with the apartments she showed me. She was funny and sweet when we got back to the leasing office. Everyone in there was just the same. Staff here are incredible and so welcoming and friendly. So that was the good part. Now let's get into the bad part. Edit. I've been living here for 2 months with quite literally none of my appliances working. I have at least 15 to 20 correspondence with management to fix the following. Washer and dryer, both not functional. I have yet to do a load of laundry. Dishwasher. I have yet to do a load of dishes. Refrigerator is leaking onto the floor and causing there to be mold on the fridge door. A cabinet door simply fell off its hinges. The only thing that has been fixed after weeks of pleading is my closet door that had been off its hinges since I moved in. Management has an attitude whenever you call to get simple things fixed, or an estimate to when you can expect to start actually living in your apartment. I was told to simply take my clothes to a laundromat down the road. As a solution, they've taken a total of $100 off my rent for these inconveniences, when I originally was interested in these apartments because of the amenities they advertise. Please save your money and listen to the reviews. Find somewhere else to live. Unfortunately, it sounds like Megan was only being nice to T so that T would sign the lease and be legally binded to them, so they can collect her rent and not fixing of her appliances, I guess. The next review comes from Shady? Shaddy?
Will the real Slim
Shady? Shaddy?
please stand up?
Is this place shady? Terrible experience living here. The management is incompetent and quite literally scammed us out of a deposit. Maintenance requests were rarely addressed, and I dealt with my bedroom window leaking into my apartment every time it rained with nothing done about it. The previous property managers were both extremely rude, and the leasing agents are lazy and unreliable. Aside from that, the area is extremely sketchy and I never felt safe. Do not live here. So the place isn't shady, but it is sketchy. This review almost had me at the end thinking there was going to be a good part with that aside from that, but instead of good, just more bad. Let's see if the more bad continues with Rachel's review. Very negative experience here. Can't recommend. First of all, when we moved in, the apartment smelled horribly of smoke and overall just very dirty. Maintenance is very slow to respond and management is very rude. We had water leaking into our apartment from upstairs, creating puddles in our apartment. I called emergency maintenance immediately, and they waited almost 2 days to respond. By that point, the water had spread too and damaged the carpets. For weeks after, the apartment smelled horrible, lots of bugs, and damage from the dirty water flooding the apartment. No attempt was made to help with the cleanup. In fact, I was at work when they finally got the water to stop, and when I returned home, I found the dirty standing water still sitting in my apartment. No one contacted me to let me know what happened, to fix it, or to clean up. Now we have moved out, and they are trying to have us pay for the damages that results from their lack of response to the water leak coming from another resident. After we moved out, they waited several weeks to check the apartment, and are charging us for items that are marked as clean and good on the paperwork. Management refuses to respond to calls, and is overall very unhelpful and unprofessional. The surrounding area is loud at night, and often feels unsafe. I am so glad to be gone. I do not recommend living here at all. This review kind of reiterates what I was talking about earlier. If management and maintenance slacks on fixing things, especially like water leaks, it's going to cause so much more in damages in the long run than it would in the short run just to hire somebody to fix it and to fix it properly. I feel bad for Rachel, but I'm glad she's out of here. Next up for Westminster is Dalton. My car was stolen within a week of moving here, as well as nearly every package I tried having delivered to my apartment. Management withheld $200 of my security deposit for locks on the door in the unit that were present when I moved in. Not to mention the multiple maintenance requests I had to make for rodents. I promise anyone looking that you can find a better apartment in St. Louis for the same, if not better, of a price. Cars stolen, nearly every package stolen, management withholding money because of locks that you didn't install. Yeah, this place sounds absolutely terrible and the definition of a slumlord. And with that, you made it to the end of my video. Thank you so much for watching. Leave a like if you haven't, subscribe if you haven't, check this video out on screen, and I've been Jeff, and I can't wait to see you again. Goodbye.